Former pupils from schools across Britain have reflected upon the disciplinary practices that were commonplace during their school years, recalling an era in which corporal punishment formed a routine part of school life. Kerrisley High, Coventry Linda recalled, "I do not remember receiving the cane, although I remember Miss Marsden's wooden slipper very clearly. It seemed that she eventually knew me well enough to have my name practically engraved upon it." Simon added simply, "Yes, I remember Miss Marsden's slipper very well indeed." Kings Hill, Secondary Modern, Wednesbury. Susan recalled frequent reprimands during mathematics lessons. "My friend and I were often in trouble for talking during lessons with Mr. Alcock. On one occasion he struck me with the slipper, and it was quite painful." Kingsley Secondary. Karen remembered strict discipline from one teacher in particular. Miss Vardy was particularly fond of using the cane, and pupils greatly feared being sent to her classroom upstairs. Jane recalled punishment from several members of staff. "Mrs. Royston struck me with a ruler, while Mrs. Vardy used the cane when she considered me insolent." Cynthia Nurse admitted to youthful misconduct. "Two friends and I deflated somebody's bicycle tyres in the bicycle shed. We received the cane the following morning from Mrs. Vardy." Kings Meadow Comprehensive, Gateshead. Judith remembered receiving punishment after leaving school grounds improperly. "I remember receiving the strap after using a gap in the fence in order to reach the bus home more quickly." Kingstamerton Secondary, Plymouth Elaine reflected favourably upon one teacher. "I never received the cane or ruler from Mrs. Moffat. She was an excellent teacher. However, I did receive the cane from Mrs. Lavery." Helen recalled, "Mrs. Moffat rarely punished us. The boys seemed to receive most of her attention. I did receive the cane from Mrs. Matthews." Caroline remembered a classroom punishment. "Miss Moffat caned several of us at the front of the class for talking throughout the lesson. Like everyone else, I attempted to hide how much it hurt." Ladywood Comprehensive, Birmingham Margaret recalled, "I remember Mrs. Hayward very well. She caned me after I had been involved in a fight." Larne High School, Northern Ireland. One former pupil described Miss Dundee as particularly skilled with the bat, while another recalled, "Mr. Beggs caned me simply for walking on the grass." Susan added, "Mrs. Dundee, the physical education teacher, was extremely strict. If I remember correctly, she used both a bat and occasionally a gym shoe." Levant House, Chichester Cressida remembered, "There was also an older woman who served as matron. I received the slipper from her." Lee Park and Gateacre Liverpool one former pupil recalled, "Mrs. Lloyd, the deputy headmistress, seemed to take particular satisfaction when administering the cane." Lighthall School, Solihull Louise remembered, "Mrs. Hunt punished me with the slipper after catching me smoking." Limehouse School, Carlisle. Nicola recalled, "Mr. Brotherton discovered us behind the girls' dormitories smoking shortly after we transferred schools. Mrs. Rice punished me with the slipper." Sarah added, "If memory serves correctly, we received not so much a slipper as a training shoe. I certainly did." Littlemead Grammar School, Chichester. Annabella remembered, "I received the slipper from Mrs. Ball for running along the corridor." LVS Ascot Sally recalled, "It was definitely Mr. Stonelake during European studies. I remember it clearly because several of us received the slipper together." Manor Secondary, Aldershot Sandra remembered the headmistress vividly. "Mrs. Hollingdale ruled the school with great severity. I received the cane from her on 2 occasions." Mansfield High, Burnley Mary Dawson recalled, "I attended Mansfield from 1957 until 1960 and remember Miss Lee caning me for smoking." Mar College, Troon Clare remembered, "Miss Beaton, my English teacher, gave me the belt. I returned to class in tears while other pupils laughed." Marshland High, Wisbech 1 former pupil remembered Mrs. Fleming, known by pupils under an affectionate nickname. "She gave me the slipper, but was considerate enough to let me choose which hand would receive it." Macaulay High School, Doncaster Paddy reflected, "I liked Miss Jackson despite the fact that she caned me." Mesners High School, Wigan. Pauline Gaster recalled. I attended between 1973 and 1976 and remember Miss Pilling well. She caned me twice. Moat Mount School, Brent Leslie remembered both positive and difficult experiences. I have good memories, and some that have stayed with me for less pleasant reasons. Mr. Green punished me with the slipper, while Mrs. Solders once struck my leg with a steel ruler. Monks Eton High School, Whitley Bay. Gina recalled, we are going back many years now. Mrs. Main taught needlework, while Miss White occasionally missed her target when using the cane. Moorside High, Manchester. Thelma Hogg remembered her mathematics teacher. Mr. Hayes was frightening, and I remember that cane very clearly. Lindsay Sheldon recalled, Miss Clayton punished me with the strap for wearing mascara. Moorside High, Stoke Joy Simpson remembered repeated reprimands. My legs were struck numerous times because my school skirt was considered too short. Paul Bateman added, Mrs. Biddle frequently used the slipper. Mornington High, Wigan. Gill MacDonald recalled, Mr. Lord stands out in my memory. I received the slipper from Miss Whitaker, who assured me it would not hurt because it was my first offence. She was mistaken. Mortimer Comprehensive, South Shields. Joanne remembered meeting a former teacher years later. When I introduced myself, I reminded Mrs. Henderson that she was the only teacher ever to cane me. Mossley Hollins High School, Manchester. Nikki recalled one particular incident. After setting off a stink bomb during sewing class, I received the cane from Mrs. Mullaney. These recollections, whether delivered with humour, discomfort or resignation, offer a glimpse into a period when physical punishment remained a familiar feature of British school life.